Everyone, Mr. Snow Smasher back with another Crossout tutorial video. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to build this nuclear waste truck. I know nuclear waste isn't stored in vehicles like this, but I thought I'd make a big, scary looking tanker full of nuclear sludge. So let's not waste any time, let's examine the build. We got some nice 6x4 frames as well as a 2x8 frame. 4 twin wheels on the rear with one without a CK to make it look like it's been using a spare. And then APC wheels on the front. Unfortunately, I don't have the CK for these either. We're using Yokozuna again because I like this cab a lot. Has very nice stats too. Looks absolutely amazing. Of course, the radiation hazard stickers are a must for this build, unless you want your tanker to carry something more normal, like, I don't know, fuel. Got plenty of warning stickers on the back, warnings everywhere. Fortunately, I ran out of parts limit, so I could only use one flashing beacon. So let's get right into the build. Going to go all the way back up to get those frames I mentioned. Going to need 2 6x4s and of course one 1x8. And starting with some basic hardware because I remember where it is. Going to get your car jack, your Maxwell. I'm going to put a generator on temporarily so I can place this Maxwell. And then 8 pins in front of that Maxwell, I'm going to put my Yokozuna. Making sure there's an 8-pin gap between the two so you can put some drones in to fill the space and add a little bit of extra defense. Just like so. Fairly simple. That is what your hardware should look like, as well as your frames. The Yokozuna will need to be attached by a 4x4 grid. If it's 5x4 or 4x3 like this, then you've placed it on incorrectly. So the only thing that should be overhanging the frames is the cab. Then starting with the wheels, you're going to just slap those APC wheels on the front like so. And then we're going to slap on these big twin wheels, making sure we have the un-CK'd version to act as a spare. Though the CK isn't exactly necessary. Your build will just look like that if you don't have the CK. But I prefer using the CK because it just looks much nicer in my opinion. Continuing, let's get some, I guess, decorational hardware. I'm gonna put a fuel barrel and a iris on. I'm gonna rotate it so the screen faces this way to the outside, and a radio so the antenna side is on the outer side of the cab as well. And then to fill in this gap between the fuel barrel and the cab, we're going to go down to the Steppenwolf's parts and get a strengthened slope and rotate it so this small corner angle here is touching the fuel barrel. And under the wheel wells to fill them in a bit, going to get some truck slopes and just place them upside down on each side so they are sloping towards either the radio or the twin slope. Once that's done, you're going to go to the lunatic pieces and get your bully parts. You're going to get the side guards and place those in front of the twin wheels on each side, just like so, as a little bit of wheel side protection. Then you're going to get some parts on the founders. You're going to get these sloped platforms and rotate those so the slope is facing towards the side guards that we just placed on each side, just like that, making sure they are both on the lower half of your drones here, with one pin behind the platforms on the drones uncovered. So there should be a 1 pin space between your wheel and your platform to ensure everything goes correct. Now, starting with the actual tank, I'm going to get a small platform, place it on the central, on the top rear of the Yokozuna, behind the drone that is built into the cab. We're going to go down to the APC parts, because these will be heavily required, and get some small APC panels and rotate those so the smaller slopes are facing upwards at the top, and the grills on each side are facing outwards. Then you get a large APC panel, place that so the vent is towards the rear of your build. And behind that APC panel, you're going to get a long pipe shield. Place that so these two holes are facing the rear. This is where you'll place your tail lights later on. And then on the very back of that tail pipe, you're going to get placed a armored hatch with, I guess, these straightened out corners at the bottom. So this little sticker is upright. Now, to fill in the sidewalls, you're going to get some small tank side parts. Place them. Place them on the armored hatch, just like so, with some tank side parts in front of them as well. These will attach to the APC panels by 4 pins. So if they're not attaching like that, you've made a mistake somewhere. Though I'm sure if you're following this tutorial as I'm doing it, you'll have everything correct. And then to fill in the 4x2 pin gap here, you're going to place some last final small tank sides, just like that. Now for the bottom half of the wall, you're going to get 2 strengthened slopes and place those to the front side of the tank, so not on the rear side. You'll need it on both sides as well, just behind your Yokozuna. And then inside you can place your engine. I'm going to use fin whale because that's the fastest engine I have. I would use Jaguar, but again, I don't have it, unfortunately. I'm going to place it as far forward as I can so I don't get any of the exhaust smoke coming out of the rear. And to cover it up, I'm going to go down to the Seneca parts to get some Kusazuris. Rotate those so the flat sides on the sides of the tank, just like so. Now, it doesn't matter how upright these little black lines are, but I'm going to have those like that. And to fill this gap, we're going to get some small struts, place them so that they're both attached to the hatch and facing outwards as well, to make a nice smooth finish. Now, before I continue on to the next step, this is what your tank should look like if you followed every step correctly. Already this build is taking quite a good shape. Continuing on, I'm going to go down to the scavenger parts and get some quarter walls. You'll place these like so, with the warning tapes on the front and rear of the wheels, not central to each other like this. You do not want the warning lines touching each other. And you're going to copy this to the other side of the tank as well, making sure that they are sticking outwards by 1 pin, just like so. Continuing with scavenger parts, you're going to get some more truck slopes and place them on the undersides of each end of the quarter panels that we just placed. On the rear, this is where we'll place our tail lights later on. And for the front, you're going to rotate some more truck slopes and place those in front to make this diagonal-ish, I guess, shape, making a smooth-ish connection down to the sloped platform that we placed earlier. Just like so, to make some nice wheel covers like that. Afterwards, you're going to get some thin strike plates and place those centrals on each side of the quarter walls. One on each side. This is so we can extend the wheel arches with some, where is it? Catheters. And you'll place those on each side of the, attached onto the small slopes that we placed a minute ago. To make these nice, I guess, extended looking wheel arches attached onto the main, I guess, shape of the build. Speaking of wheel arches, let's go all the way down to the decoration items to briefly make a visit and get some fender extenders. Place those as low down as you can above your APC wheels, which should be attaching to both the small slope and the Yokozuna, with one pin on each, not above with all 4 pins on the cab. You'll need it lowered like that. Now with these lower sides, you're going to get some catch bumpers. You'll need one facing inwards and another one on top facing outwards. This will be repeated on both sides, just like so. And then on the underside of the front, underneath the Yokozuna cab, this is very simple. You'll just need to get a century line. And then rotate it so there is a 1 pin gap between the 6x4 frame, and so that there is the half pin width between the front of the Yokozuna and the front of the bumper. So in reality, what you're looking at here is the underside of the bumper. The bumper will need to be facing downwards for this. Now to make the rear bumper, you're going to get a, where is it? I already forgot the name. You're going to get a defense line, which is this nice grill bumper. This is where you'll place your mud guards on either side, because you cannot be spitting mud up with these fat tires, can you? Now structure part wise, this build is complete. Let's start on with the main decor items. Starting with the wing mirrors. Of course, you cannot forget the wing mirrors. I'm going to be using the rover mirrors as usual. You'll only need those. Next is the tail lights. You're going to get 2 small round brake lights. Place them on either side of the long pipe shield, like I mentioned earlier, or above those holes. And then on these truck slopes, you're going to get some tail lights. And place them. I'm going to place them so the indicators are facing outwards, like that. And then for one side of the pipe shield, you're going to go up and get a service ladder. I'm going to place it on the left side, and I'm not going to put anything on the right side. Next, I'm going to get that flashing beacon I mentioned earlier. Unfortunately, you can only have one of on this build because it will just fill up the parts limit. Just like so on this small platform. And on the rear hatch, you're going to get either one of the license plates, X09 or PROTOBEE 001. I'm going to use 001 for this because I personally prefer it on this build because it is bigger. And I actually cannot remember what other decoration items I had. That is very strange and very much unlike me. Yeah, I'm just checking. I have got everything on. I haven't misplaced anything. Huh. I must have built this more efficiently than I did before recording this. Because as you guys saw, I built this vehicle before recording just so I could know how exactly to construct it, so I wouldn't have to waste your guys' time without experimenting. But since I have 2 parts left in the limit, I'm just going to go ahead and get a headlight set. Place that central as far forwards on the Yokozuna as I can. And then I'm going to scroll up and get a decorative grille 1, rotate that, and place that just behind the headlight set. And I'm actually going to move the flashing beacon backwards by 1 pin too. Now parts wise, this build is now fully complete. Just going to center it, and now we can start painting. So let's not waste any time. Oh, I know what I did wrong. I didn't put the exhausts in. That's what I didn't do. So you could either have these headlights on, or I'm just going to show you briefly what to do if you wish to have the exhausts on. And get some skull pipes and place those upside down underneath the radio and the strengthened twin slope that we placed very early on in this tutorial, and have them just like that on either side. But I'm actually kind of preferring it with the headlights, so I'm going to keep the headlights. I'm going to just leave that little bit with the exhausts on in the video, just so you guys who do want exhausts can know where exactly to place them. So starting with the tank, let's get the yellow grid paint. You can use pretty much any yellow paint, but I'm going to use yellow grid for this. I've got to paint pretty much every part that makes up the tank except for the small platform, long pipe shield, and the quarter walls. As well as not painting these drones under here. You will leave these drones unpainted for the whole build. Once you've painted the tank, you're going to get rid of the yellow paint. You're not going to need your yellow paint anymore. And next you're going to get your pattern danger paint, and you're going to paint the 2 catch bumpers that you have on either side, as well as the ones underneath, holding them on. Then you're going to go and get a... where is it? I keep losing my paints. A desk position paint. You're going to paint your front sentry line bumper, as well as your defense line bumper on the rear. And then once you've done with that, I'm going to get aircraft covering and paint the long pipe shield, the decorative grille, the thin strike plates on either side, and nah, not the license plate. I don't think I painted anything else with this paint actually, so I'm going to leave that paint there. Once you finish with the aircraft covering paint, you're going to get tin, and then you're going to paint these truck slopes as well as these quarter walls. Whoops, I accidentally painted the ladder. And you're going to paint them on either side, as well as painting the radio, iris, truck slope under the Yokozunas on each side, strengthened twin slope, but you're going to leave the barrel, the fuel barrel unpainted. Now then you're going to get your gladiator skin and paint the CK wheels while leaving the un-CK'd wheel unpainted. If you don't have the CK, you don't need to do this step. You do not need to paint your twin wheels if you do not have the CK, because they are already black. Then for the cab, actually forgot what paint I used for the cab. How very silly. Wasn't McGreen grey? Ah yes, I remember. It was desk position again. So you're just going to paint your Yokozuna in disposition. And then you're going to get spray coating and paint your APC wheels as well as the service ladder. Now paint wise, this build is now complete. You may also want to paint the car jack and max wheel, which I will do now. I'm going to use corroded tin to kind of hide them, blend them in to the build, just so the colours aren't showing too much on the inside. I actually could have sworn I used a different paint for the Century line. Yes, I did. I didn't use Disposition on the Century line earlier. I used aircraft covering. Okay, now, if you excuse those small little mistakes, this build is fully complete. But of course, you cannot have a nuclear sludge carrying truck without the appropriate warning stickers to let everyone know you're carrying nuclear sludge. But first, to decorate the cab, I'm going to use the workforce sticker as a badge. Just going to place that central on the Yokozuna's front there. Then you're going to get the radiation hazards and place those on this middle pin on the large tank side part. And you're going to resize it just to this side so it fits here above this bar and the bottom of the panel. And then you're going to repeat that above this pin in the same location on the other side. Next, you're going to get some warning stickers. You're going to get your traffic warnings. You won't need to resize these at all. You'll just place them one on the left like this, above, just so the stickers line is in line with this, I guess, this corner here where it starts slanting downwards, as well as in line with this hook attachment point. Then you're going to grab another, mirror it, and do the exact same on the other side. Should be pretty easy, but you got to make sure it's not touching this fender extender at all. Next up, some warning stickers. You're going to get dangerous element. Shrink it down so it fits on the very front of these slope pieces, the strengthened slope, and then you're going to place that on either side, just so it's on the front. And you're also going to get another dangerous element sticker. You're going to shrink that down even smaller. Whoops. And then you're going to place that just next to your license plate on the left side. Next, for some more warnings, the final warning stickers on the armored hatch, you're going to get do not block. Shrink it down to its smallest size. Place that on the right, just in the middle here, so it's not covering anything and nothing's covering it. Then you're going to get a corrosive sticker. Shrink that down to its smallest size, but then make it bigger by 1, just so it's the same size as the corrosive, the do not enter sticker. And then place that mirroring the location on the opposite side of the hatch. Once that's done, you're going to need some unit codes. I'm going to use the service number because it's fairly long. I'm going to place that facing, I guess, backwards in front of the flashing beacon. I'm going to shrink it down to a fair... Actually, does it need shrinking? No, it doesn't need shrinking. It needs growing. So you're going to grow it by 2. Actually, no, you're going to grow it by 1. That was a mistake. So you're just going to grow it by 1 so it's not sticking out over the sides of the platform. And you're going to place it central to the pins and in between the beacon and the drone, just like that. As well as placing one on the small tank side part at the very top of it. underneath the pipe shield piece. Like so. You will not need to resize it to duplicate it. For the front of the cab, you're going to get another unit code and just place that at its smallest sized under the right little hole here. We did this on the other build I used Yokozuna for, though I used a sticker, in my opinion, a little too big, so I'm going to use it at its smallest size and stick it just underneath one of those little holes there. To add a little bit of customization, I'm going to put a Rise of the Machine sticker just underneath this slope part there. Just like that. And I'm going to put a Marmok Was Here sticker on this small strut. And then I'm going to place the die is cast on this little square. Well, the little rectangle there underneath the Yokozuna's ladder. And for some final warning stickers, you're going to get oops, wrong pedal. Shrink it down to its smallest size and place it in the bottom right of the side guard on the left and the bottom left of the side guard on the right. Just like so. Just to give a little warning, because these do stick out a little bit. I'm pretty sure that's it for this build. I've just realized there is some space here, so I'm also going to put some space on the back of this build too. Bumper too. I'm going to put an Avid fan sticker on there. If I could get the rotation correct, that'd be fantastic. Maybe it needs to go on the left. Yeah, it needs to go on the left. Actually, I don't think there's enough warning stickers. But I don't know what else to add. Let me just browse through the warning stickers a sec. I didn't fully sticker the build I made earlier. It's just so I could get onto making the tutorial for you guys. Oh, I could put some Wada Kavan branding on it, couldn't I? Let's go and get the Singularity sticker. Make that as small as possible. And place it on these little squares here, or rectangles I should say. So the logo is covering the large side and the word Wada Kavan is on the smaller side. And we need to place this on the small APC panel in the same location on each side of the tank. Just like that. As well as putting a Wada Kavan sticker on each side of the Yokozuna, between the bottom slot of the step ladder, just like so. We could add some bullets to make it look like it's been attacked. And there you have it, guys. Your, I guess, nuclear waste carrying lorry is complete. If you followed each step correctly.